So the frog, it will come down, they sing to it, but they're doing like a frog call. So it's not so much a song as like a, and that's not very good. That's
I was hoping you were going to do it.
Roger. Please be informed there is a Santa
Here we go, everybody. Welcome to the Acid for Squares podcast. I'm your host, Cody Blue.
I'm Tanya Dahl, and today we have on the show in the A4S studios, Kambo Steve.
Kambo Steve.
Hi,
Hey, everybody.
guys.
Kambo
Hi,
Steve.
guys.
Kambo
Oh,
Steve.
very nice
Ooh,
to
like
meet
these
you.
applause. All right, I'm going to give everyone a little introduction to Kambo Steve. All right, and brother, this has been a long time coming.
We've been talking for a bit.
We've been talking for a hot minute. Okay, so we know Kambo Steve. This is our first time meeting in person, but we know you because you are the Cambo teacher for a few of our dear friends who are Cambo practitioners. All right. So, and a little bit about you for those that don't know. Kambo Steve runs a Cambo school known as Cambo International. Also, you were the subject of a Vice documentary, which was amazing. Thank you for sharing that with me. And also, I think two of the more fascinating things about you is one, that you were once a prominent fashion designer that then has been thrusted into this world of plant medicine. And also, I love that you are currently going to school for psychotherapy in your 50s to sort of merge the worlds of plant and animal medicine and, modern mental health and therapy. So can you start off by telling us how you got onto this journey?
Also, nobody's going to believe that
I
he's
will.
50.
I know.
I'm 51 this week.
51. Are you serious?
week?
Yeah.
Happy
believe it.
birthday!
October 15th. Thank you.
Okay,
I
give
want
us
to
your
mention
story.
also that my co-teacher, who I teach with, we started the school together.
Cool.
She was a teacher of mine before, in a way, because she was a mentor of mine, and we started this organization together.
What's her name?
Ginny Rutherford.
Nice.
So
Okay.
she's in the space with us all the time.
Beautiful.
But I started working with Kambo. I was working in the fashion world, and I suffered from a lot of illnesses, ailments kind of stuff. I had a sort of multiple chronic illness at the time, and doctors weren't able to help at the time. There were things that I had Lyme disease, so pretty chronic Lyme disease for quite a long time. I grew up in the Northeast, so you guys know there's a lot of Lyme disease over there.
Did you get it from a tick?
I got it from a tick. I found the tick bites. I've had Lyme disease twice, so I found the tick one time in my hip, one time in my testicle.
Oh my God.
They went straight for the balls.
Wow.
No more
and-
naked running through fields.
Yes, you're correct. I think it crawled up my leg and found my testicle.
It was like, this is the spot.
This is
This
where I'm
seems
gonna go.
warm.
I
It's
live here
actually,
now.
we carry a lot of heat in our root area in this part of our body.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they go. They'll navigate their way up. So they'll start usually on your ankles and then crawl their way up.
Jesus.
To your hip. I know, they're awful.
Yeah, perverts.
They're perverts. There's going to be more of them. The more the world keeps, having sort of change in global environment situations, the tick environment is developing. Anyways, I was super sick, so I had 30 years of constipation. I found out later. I think I told Cody.
You didn't
before.
poop for 30 years.
It was rough.
He's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
You should have seen the first poop. So I had 30 years of horrible constipation, and I found out later I was gluten intolerant in a pretty major way. And I grew up in an Italian family.
Yeah,
Are
same.
you Italian too?
Yeah, I'm Italian, and I'm also gluten intolerant.
Are you an Italian Jew?
Oh, yes, I have, actually.
Shut up.
If you gotta.
Are you
I'm an
too?
Italian Jew.
I'm
that's why you guys are
Jewish,
best
as
friends.
I
Yeah,
would
that's what I say. I'm
Ish.
Jewish.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
big on the ish.
Hey, brother. What's up,
right.
man? It's a confusing. It's confusing out here.
Yeah. For many years, I had deep digestive issues. So tons of like chronic stomach stuff. And I had a back disc replacement. So I had a disc replaced in my third lumbar.
Wow.
And so I was like pretty numb and like bordering on, I don't want to say paralyzed, but it was numb on my right side of my body.
Whoa.
So I couldn't do a lot of things. And I was working like a dog in the fashion world. So I had a little bit of success in the fashion world. We were pretty well known in the handbag and shoe world. And then emulated, as you know, in the fashion world by some of the major brands, the big brands, and then the Chinatowns and the Targets, and then the Givenchy's and the Lanvins and the Valentinos, all of them and everyone in between. If you make something that celebrities buy, which happened,
Yep.
They bought a bunch of them, and then everybody just wants to buy the look
that'll do
from
it.
a brand with a label. So I was pretty exhausted from work, and I was super sick. I had to close my company. I decided to like become a creative director at some other brands to make more money. And my friend was like, "You got to try Kambo." It's my good friend Delara. She is a wild Turkish chef out of New York. She's really cool. They have sort of like psychedelic spiritual cafes that they call Magic Deli.
What? Wait, what do you mean
Magic
psychedelic
Deli,
cafe?
yeah.
They have psychedelic community, and they all come to these cafes, and so they
That's so cool.
they believe in food as magic, food as
Food is medicine.
food as medicine.
Yep.
So their culture is around that. But she said to me, "You got to come do Kambo with me," and she was my new bestie. So I said, "Whatever." I was like, "I'll do it." Sounds like bullshit, but I'll try anything twice. I say that's how I ended up married to a man.
Really quick, before we continue, can you explain what Kambo is so when people are understanding?
Good question. Kambo is a frog secretion from the Amazon rainforest that comes off the back of a giant monkey tree frog. And it is a sticky substance. That's the frog is considered a waxy creature. It's full of peptides. So we know that because it's been studied in laboratories. Many people are taking peptides now for different kinds of benefits. There are biopeptides and neuropeptides, and they have different actions in the body. So the biopeptides might be to help you salivate or to make your tear ducts run. The peptides can also cause your digestion to work in better ways. Neuropeptides are doing things in the brain. They're helping you maybe have better memory or other things in the brain to do those things. Biohacking world is really into peptides now. People are buying them online and taking them at home. But Kambo carries a cocktail of these peptides. So every time you take them, that's why people always say with medicine, it gives you what you need, not what you think you want. But especially with Kambo, there's so many peptides. This cocktail is probably going to bring something in the way of healing benefits, at least on the physical level, and then hopefully on the consciousness level. And there's many studies on the medicine and what it's been doing since then. There hasn't been that many. There's been enough that we know at least what the peptides are doing. And then there's this sort of tribal traditional aspect of using it, and they use it on everybody from an infant. So it's used from a very, you can see an infant taking it. I'm going to visit the Matsis tribe in 2 weeks, which is really fun. We stay with them. They support us. They love that we do this work because it keeps them doing their work of sourcing the medicine, and they can stay in the tribe and protect the jungle. The jungle, you probably know, is in danger of deforestation, mostly from oil and other people who want to profit only from the jungle instead of like feeding back to it.
Yeah.
So the tribes, if you can support their work, they can stay there and protect the land.
So when you tried Kambo
I
as
did
a
Kambo
skeptic,
the first time.
what was your reaction?
Well, I said I wasn't going to friggin' do it. And I, at first, for the first second, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to try anything twice. And I went, and I was wobbly after. I went home, I took a nap, and I woke up like a 16-year-old. I was 40 at the time, so it's been 10 years now.
Oh, wow.
Just almost turning 40. And I was able to do headstands in yoga. I think because of some of the peptides that cause you to calm your nervous system. There is a nervous system response. I had done headstands in yoga, but never so easily, or maybe not only at home or against a wall. And I just popped up and I sat there for like seemed like minutes. And I noticed my digestion started to clear. And I was speed reading. But I don't think I was speed reading. I think I was just reading, because two of the peptides in Kambo kill something called candida. Do you guys know what candida is?
Yeah, of course. It's hard for me to fully know. A lot of us deal with candida overgrowth, but I often have like a thrush on my tongue.
Yep.
And in many Eastern traditions, they'll say the tongue is the window to the digestive system. Yep. And so that thrush, even though the doctors, since I was little, they give you like a mouthwash or a pill to take. But, once I found out about Candida albatross, I was like, I wanted to do it through diet, and it was very difficult. So I had no idea, and I've worked with Cambo. We both have. I had no idea it can kill Candida.
Two of the peptides are known to kill Candida, and other fungal things in the body, which can be beneficial because fungus overgrowth is problematic for the human state.
And prominent, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people suffer from this, causes brain fog, lethargy, attention deficit disorder, depression, anxiety.
Thank you.
So on and so forth.
So that's probably what was happening.
Inflammation, yeah.
Yep. I think a lot of healing if people have candida going on at the same time, it's really hard for the other healing to take place because you're stuck in this pattern of like sick, sick, sick.
Yeah.
So like with my back pain, if I have a gut issue and my gut's not healing, the inflammation doesn't let the back pain go away. So I think with the digestive stuff, the candida, and I had a lot of brain fog, so I thought I was speed reading. But I think I was just reading because I probably had, I said I was constipated for 30 years. You can imagine if you're constipated, there's going to be some imbalance of gut bacteria. And I probably had candida for most of that time. And the combo went so targeted at it that I could read and concentrate and focus and like take in information in.
Wow.
It was wild.
I wonder because we have similarity in cultures, and there's so much cheese and also carbs
And pasta.
right?
Pasta and cheese.
That's so high in the glycemic index, the way it breaks down, it might as well be just sugar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it just sort of sits there.
yeah. So I wonder if there's a commonality there. So okay, so you had all of these healing benefits. Did you go back? Did you immediately go back a second time, and did you experience additional benefits?
So I felt so many benefits so quickly that I was like, well, I'm not fucking waiting. Like you don't wait for healing. And as soon I had so much, change right away. My back pain started to ease up because there's peptides for pain in Kambo. They say this one peptide is 1,000 times stronger than morphine. So you can use it for the pain without the addictive qualities. So a lot of people, when they come for addiction to work with Kambo, we see a lot of people for addiction, you can imagine, and sort of trauma and addiction sometimes go together.
Yeah.
But with addiction especially, people are dealing with pain. That's how they end up in addiction, especially when you're talking about pharmaceuticals. So the Kambo will give them the pain relief without the addictive qualities so that they can start working on really what's going on, which is underneath the addiction or the pain.
Wow.
I didn't know that. See, I feel like we've done Kambo a couple of times, and I don't think I knew the majority of the information that you're saying.
Yeah, you're blowing our minds a little
you're
bit. And
wealth of knowledge. So thank you.
And I would say the interesting thing is, so we work with plant medicines. We eat plants. We are plant people, and we are hesitant with animal medicines. We don't want to exploit or take advantage of any animal or harm any animal, right? I mean, you should see us. If we have an ant infestation in our home, I mean, we will just sit there shutting them outside. Like it's a problem.
I know.
But I know a Cambo practitioner who she goes into the jungle and plays some instrument, and the frogs climb on her, and she just rubs them.
Because they have no natural predators.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, nice that you know that. They have no natural predators. And we think it might be because of the peptide. There's one snake that eats the frog and then regurgitates it. Whoa. So that's not really a predator. And we think there's probably it wants some symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
That there's because snakes are smart. Yeah, snakes are smart. They wouldn't do it again if they thought it was going to harm them. So maybe they're taking some of the peptides.
Can you speak to the symbiotic relationship the Cambo practitioner has with the frog and the way the medicine is extracted? Because that was something that kept us from the medicine at first, but we've after being educated, we came around to working with it. Yeah,
it's an important question, I think, because we want to make sure we're not doing harm. I mean, as we evolve as people, we want to not harm the world we live in, right? Like, let's take care of the world we live in and the people who are in it. So the frog, as you know, as you said, that it will come down, they sing to it. So people, usually the tribal people will sometimes sing but they're doing like a frog call. So it's not so much a song as like a and that's not very good. That's
I was hoping you were going to do it.
That was not good. It was horrible.
You can try again.
I loved it.
Go ahead, try again.
I liked it. I want it to be that. It will forever be that for me.
No, it sounds like a bird.
That's
I didn't
a bird
do it.
call. That's good. It's a bird frog. It's a big flying bird frog.
With peptides.
With peptides. Oh, that's the future.
That is the
dream. So this frog, but to be honest, they're so in safe areas. They're so multitude. There's so many of them that they're just hanging out in the branches near the tribal area, and you can go out and they break a little bit of a branch off and carry the whole branch, or the frog will climb onto your arm, and they move super slow, and then the medicine is, the frogs are often put in like a hammock type position. The medicine's scraped off and then they're set back in the jungle. There's a little string that's tied around its legs when they're taking the medicine off that often will leave a colored line around the leg or the ankle. And then you can tell how recently it's been harvested because they don't want to over harvest. So you only take 70% of the medicine off the frog because it needs the rest to protect itself.
Yeah.
And then it can go back out, be safe in the jungle and build more medicine.
That's beautiful. One thing I want to say about Cambo is it's warrior's medicine. Like this is no joke. You ain't popping a pill and feeling better.
Yeah. It's
saying
a warrior
Advil.
out in all of us.
Oh yeah, it's some serious stuff. You know, it brings the warrior out, also brings the Robert De Niro out in all of us. I mean, you do some Cambo, you get that Robert De Niro face.
That was me.
Oh yeah. Did you blow up?
I did blow up.
We call it combo tox.
I also didn't know that when you do Cambo, you're not supposed to just keep your head leaning over the bucket. But that's how you get the frog
Many
face.
people get swollen if they are leaning over a lot.
Oh my God, I literally went to the bathroom and I was like, I look like Robert De Niro.
Oh my
Full
God.
face. That was horrifying. I'll show you a picture later.
Yeah,
Scary.
we'd love for you to, because you explained the science of it and your journey to working with the medicine and how beneficial it was to you. Can you explain a little bit of how the medicine is administered and also what you've seen healed with it administered? Because, you know, I know hundreds of people you've administered to at this point, probably thousands.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear what you've seen.
So I think that was the big thing around Kambo for me is how quickly I was able to see healing shift. I would say the thing that starts to happen once you start, for me, when I was able to work on the physical stuff, I was able to have more eye on the consciousness work that needed to get worked on, which was also in my root area. So early childhood stuff is sometimes carried in certain, different philosophies believe it's carried in different parts of the body. So the root chakra was connected to also where my constipation was, where my back surgery was. And then I did my combo work there and a lot of movement happened with bottom purging. So I don't know why I was drawn to tell you that little bit there because it seems important when you're working with people on a healing. Sometimes you just need to get them a little bit off the edge.
Yeah.
So they can start to see clearly and then make decisions on like their health and whatever it is they're working with. But I work with a lot of addiction, I mentioned, a lot of sort of emotional trauma, a lot of chronic pain. Some people who are just curious, they want to grow and they don't know why they're called, but they read about Kambo and they're like, that's what I need. They show up, I didn't think I was going to do anything with Kambo, but when I did it, and after the first day, I realized it was going to be a part of my life. I knew it was going to be part of my life. And I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm moving to California and I'm going to be a Kambo practitioner.
Whoa.
Within like a few months, I left I had a great job and I was overseeing a big group of people at the company I was working at, and I just was done with sort of being in that lifestyle, and I wanted to change. I wanted to come out west as well, so it was good timing.
Steve, this is fascinating because we talk a lot of psychedelic plant medicines. We talk about them operating on a consciousness or on a spiritual level, and you're speaking about Kambo as an amazing tool for healing the physical and trauma that's stored in the physical and healing the gut biome and then that can create a space to start to work on the other stuff. I guess I never really had compartmentalized Kambo, like separated Kambo from the other medicines, like thinking in that terms. And that's the thing, Kambo is not a psychedelic. And people often put it into that psychedelic category. It's not a plant medicine, it's an animal medicine.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that a little bit on just the difference between plant medicine and Kambo, especially as someone who is a plant medicine practitioner and student as well?
Speak to it being a plant medicine.
Just the difference between the two of them.
Yeah, so it's an animal medicine because it comes from a frog. And the difference for me is that it has a similar consciousness to us in a weird way. Whereas plant medicine, I feel like is a beautiful medicine, but it doesn't feel like we carry some consciousness that overlaps. But there's something about the animal medicine that I feel like it feels like it carries some of our consciousness in a more direct way.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I haven't thought much about it or even talked much about it.
That's an interesting way to put it, because I mean, the plant medicines are very, I don't know, alien, like very otherworldly.
Yeah, they're otherworldly and they're part of us, but they feel very otherworldly,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But the peptides in Kambo are very similar to our peptides, although there's some of them are different and more special.
Yeah.
And maybe they're adding to our own peptide makeup,
Right.
or helping us have benefits that we might not have otherwise.
I mean, we are just animals on this planet anyway, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
We're just a bunch of beings living here. So it's also so wild because nobody's talked about this, but because you had problems with like your gut growing up, and I was in a major car accident when I was a kid. I was hit by a PG&E truck on the freeway, and our car was completely totaled.
So she had back problems her whole life.
I thought I actually had fibromyalgia because my body would seize up and I was in so much pain, and I would just lay on the floor every day with tears like pouring down my face. And I did an ayahuasca ceremony, and in there, it brought me into my childhood room, or childhood living room, and it was like, you need to go talk to her. And I knew exactly what was happening. My little 5-year-old self was under the piano holding in going to the bathroom because I was so like, it was like shameful to go to the bathroom. And so I had to go in there and like literally talk to my younger self and be like, it's totally fine. You know, like you can go to the bathroom. It's natural, whatever. I picked her up, walked to the bathroom, and then immediately was jolted back into the ceremony where I started throwing up like giant chunks.
Amazing.
And I hadn't eaten for a very long time. So I didn't know what was going on. And then all of a sudden my back just went poof, and like decompressed.
Sick.
And I was like, no way, like what? How is this possible? But it was the connection between the gut and the shame that I was holding around going to the bathroom that was also causing constipation.
Yeah.
It was causing all these problems, but then it completely removed my back problems, which I thought was just from the accident, but apparently it was all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think that you just hit it right on the nose. Super intelligent to be in touch with it that strongly, because most people don't know. We don't know why we're hurting, you know? And there's usually something going on that on a deeper level around the physical ailment that is needs to be unlocked. You like unlock the key. Like, oh, there we go. There's the key for that one. You healed like the past trauma to feel good in the present.
Yeah, it's so
beautiful.
crazy. We just don't even, I don't think any of us fully realize like how much our trauma stores in our body, and something like Kambo can actually, jolt it out of you.
Yeah.
Can you explain actually how Kambo works? Like as a practitioner, how you administer it and what it actually does?
Skip that part a little bit because
Yeah,
we got
go
into
ahead.
we got into the good stuff. So Kambo is a secretion that comes off the frog. It's put on a stick by the tribes. They send it to practitioners all over the world. At Kambo International, we work with the tribe called the Matsis, and they ship it to us. There's about 4 frogs on every stick. There's a lot of fables around different color Kambo, being a male or a female or an old male would have more wisdom, and it's like dark yellow, or light clear would be a younger female.
Oh,
The
interesting.
tribes have said that all of that is not true. They sometimes make jokes to kind of have make fun a little bit of the stories we like to make up, which is fine. But I'm sure depending on the frog's diet, it will have a different compound of what's coming out, what peptides are coming out stronger or less strong. And then we do a quick incense mark on the skin that's lit. So it feels like a quick burn, but you barely notice it. It happens in a split second.
It's the easiest part.
And for me, it was the scariest part.
No, it's the
It's
scariest part,
scariest
but it's the
part, yeah.
easiest part once it's
pretty
done.
easy, yeah.
Like, they're going to burn me?
And most people, if you're good at it, which we hope to train people to be, people don't even notice it. After it's over, they're like, oh, did you do it? It's pretty quick. And then the Kambo secretion is rehydrated, as you probably have seen. And then it goes on in little balls over the gates that we have opened with the burn mark. And then you sit with the process for about 20 to 40 minutes. People drink some water before. There is water that's drunk before, because Kambo will cause a purgatory reaction at times, and the water will help carry that out. So many of the peptides are doing things with the organs that will cause bile and other things to want to come into that gut and then be removed. So the water can be helpful in that. We use a lot less water now than was being used for many years because we understand more about some of the dangers. The biggest danger is called hyponatremia. And that's what you see at festivals or athletes that drink too much water and their sodium content is basically diluted. So their mineral content, and it can cause danger in the cells in the brain or in the body. So we're using a small amount of water that it's no danger for people to have this water in their body. And then some people will have a big purge. And it's the scariest thing. So when the purge is coming, people are getting nervous and they think this is the most, I don't want to purge, I don't want to purge. And, how do you feel after you purge?
Great.
And when you were a kid and you threw up from being sick, you felt better after you threw up.
Yeah, of course. You always feel better.
Yeah.
That's one of the main things all this type of work heals is just our resistance, the natural mechanisms in which we detoxify and heal ourselves, whether it's purging or going to the bathroom or sweating or crying. I mean, we're resistant to all of it. We
change.
Exactly.
When it's changing all the time.
So the gates you were talking about, something interesting we've always wondered is what motivates the placement of the gates when you're performing Cambo? Because when we receive Cambo, it was on our arms, but we've seen all different sorts of ways of doing it and placements.
So there are places we don't treat, which are like the genitalia, inside the armpit, because that can't heal very well. Places under the feet, of course, anywhere it's not safe. We don't like to do the face because we really want to professionalize Cambo, and places that we don't like to do the head. So, we stick to the body and parts that are easy to reach with people's clothing on or whatever they're wearing. So the first time people do Cambo, we always say we like to do a generic spot. In the tribe, when I did Cambo with the tribe last time, most everybody did it on their shoulder, the women and the men. There are old stories that some tribes do women on the ankle and men on the shoulder, but it's not what I witnessed. And they say that maybe women, because of their version of strength is a little different, but we haven't seen that actually to be true in the tribe. So people do it where they want to do it. But I like to personally do a generic spot the first time because Cambo people will say it goes to where it's needed. So it's going to travel to the part of the body it's needed, and it's nice to not force that guidance. Let the Cambo do its thing. With medicine, it's going to do what it's going to do. You can't. That's why people are so resistant because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Right.
So directing it with a location can sometimes feel like a little bit over directing for the first time. After that, people want to. But if someone wants to work on a specific area, we do it. I'm not opposed to giving it wherever they want that was within those boundaries.
Yeah.
And then after that, we work on chakras and meridians and ear points. Ear points come from the acupuncture tradition. There's meridians as well. Chakras are from the Indian tradition. So whatever people can use that will help them bring their consciousness to the thing they want to work on. That's where we like to work with Cambo.
That's cool. So are you bringing in and integrating across different modalities and cultures and to evolve this practice?
I think maybe that's what it's not untrue. I guess I never thought about it that way, is we're bringing other thought practices in to help people use Cambo to the best of its ability. And I guess, we're combining different ideas that will help Cambo work best for each person. There are some people that believe that doing it in a specific area actually functions in a specific way. I've done my liver meridian when I was really sick with Lyme on an 8-day session of Cambo. I did 8 days of Cambo in a row.
Whoa.
It was crazy. And one day I did my liver meridian, and that day the purge came out sludgy, thick, green. It felt like huge liver energy, liver bile. And it was like tar.
Whoa.
And there are other people that believe that it doesn't matter where you put Cambo, the end result's going to be the same because it's traveling in the lymphatic system. It's going to go where it's necessary. Will we ever know? I don't know. We don't have millions and millions of dollars to do the research that pharmaceutical companies are doing.
Right.
We do know that there are pharmaceutical companies that have been taking it apart and trying to use it for medication. So metabolism, all kinds of things.
So the interesting thing is with plant medicine, you cannot patent plants. So the pharmaceutical companies cannot profit off of the traditional pharmaceutical model the same way they could off of plant medicine. And that's one of the reasons they're repressed and it's not more popularized and universal. What about
Well, they will
animal-
try and copy the peptides that they find in it.
Exactly, because they can patent that and then they can profit off of the multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical model that's established. Can they do that for animal medicine? Can you patent the Cambo?
No.
Okay, so they have to do
Not
the same thing.
Possible. They have to do the same thing.
Reverse engineer it in a lab, try to get as close as possible.
Yeah.
So that's
But they're not making a cocktail.
what do you mean?
They're just giving you little pieces. Because there's how many peptides in Kambo? There's so many of them.
Yeah.
They're taking it apart, and now these peptides are being sold individually. As so far as what I know, I don't think they're making any cocktails.
This is something we talk about a lot, which is because we know some, essentially pharmaceutical companies that are trying to commercialize psychedelic medicines. That know, and we're always. I remember Deepak Chopra and Cybin, a pharmaceutical company, that they were going to create, psilocybin, and they were like, any questions? I was like, yeah, you're separate. Well, okay, the tribes, they believe if you separate the chemical from the actual plant, from the spirit, you're taking it's essentially not the same. Do you believe that essentially that the spirit of the frog is held within the medicine? I know it's some woo shit, but I'm just curious as it gets commercialized going forward.
When I said I wasn't going to do Kambo the first time, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to fucking do it. I'm like a New Yorker. I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
We are from the East Coast, so there's a little more skepticism. We like to see the science. We want to understand it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then as I did Kambo, that second time I took a nap afterwards, and I was dreaming. And in the dream, I was with my best friend Josephine, and we were swinging through trees in the jungle on vines and leaping over giant trees in the forest. And I didn't know Kambo was from a frog, to be honest. This is the truth. My friend may have told me, but I ignored it. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. She said maybe it was from a frog, but I didn't think about it. Yeah. Maybe it was stuck in my head, though, that I'd heard it for 1 second. And I had this dream. But it felt like the frog spirit was with me, to be honest. And now it's changed my thought around things. Do I think if you separate it from if you make a man-made version of it, well, they're doing it with DMT, and people love 5-MeO DMT that's from the toad and not from the toad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't speak to it that much. Do I think it changes something? For sure. Do I think it's not beneficial? No, I still think it's beneficial.
So from all of you've obviously had a lot of healing when it comes to Cambo, but can you speak to any of the other healings that you've seen with working with this animal medicine?
Yeah.
What's the craziest?
One of my favorite stories is someone who I'm still fond of, and I love them, and they've become a friend. They came to me. They had been using heroin for I think 17 or 18 years. And if I remember correctly, the first time they used heroin, it was around their parents. So there's a lot of trauma attached to it as well. And they were probably 13, I think, at the time. Ugh. And they had tried to get off quite a few times, I think. And we did Kambo. We were planning to do it a few days in a row. And the first time felt like an exorcism. But I think the energy of addiction can sometimes just look like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So when it's leaving, it's going to feel like that. And
also the poppy plant is a plant spirit. You know? Yeah, and there's a belief that the spirit of that plant, the addiction, is a function of it essentially surviving and living in the host. Wow. That's the indigenous perspective.
And that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
When you see addiction with drug addiction, even if it's pharmaceutical, it has a strong energy. Alcohol has a very strong energy, and it doesn't want to go. It's hosting.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if I go, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm going straight to hell.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Keep going though. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's helpful. That makes me understand. I think I understood later that it was just an energy that was happening. And she said to me afterward, she was like, "What the fuck, Steve?" She's like, "I'm never doing that again. I'm never doing." I was like, "Well, we were scheduled to do 3 days in a row at least to get us started for her." And she was like, "I'm never fucking doing it again." And I was like, "Okay." It was. This is what happened, by the way. Her first purge was this water purge. She wanted to do Kambo right away because she got there and I was trying to be all polite and how you doing? And she'd been off heroin for 24 hours because I had to have her off
Oh, she's like, let's go.
to get her started. And she was like, can we just get started? And I was like, yeah, let's get started. Because it was really raw energy in the room. We got in there. She had this first purge that was the water came out clear.
Okay.
It still looked thick and gooey. So I thought, oh, and she was like, I feel great. And I just had this thought. I was like, okay, it was too easy. Something was off. She was probably getting all those peptides that make you feel that the serotonin and the dopamine of Kambo, which are the same things that will happen on drugs. You'll feel good, feel juiced up. So I was like, okay, cool. That was interesting. And I just thought, oh, there's something else. I asked her if I could use Hape. You guys know what Hape is.
Yes.
The
Oh, yeah.
snuff.
We work
Yeah,
with
we
it.
work with it.
Yeah, so you know Hape pretty well. And I was like, maybe it's time for some Hape. I felt like there was something there that was maybe blocked or it wasn't there yet. And I said to her, should we try some Hape? And she's like, no, I'm good. I feel really good. And I was like, okay. And she looked at me. She's like, you really want to, don't you? And I was like, just have this call. I feel like it could be helpful right now. She did the Hape. She like melted. Something happened with the reaction from the Hape of her, also probably her coming off of heroin.
Yeah.
That the receptors were like, what the fuck is that now?
Yeah.
And then she starts purging. Black tar.
Whoa.
Just really thick, dark purge. It was coming out like horror movie vibes, which is that like
Exorcist
The fire
style.
hose.
I always say the Kambo purge isn't as awful as people think. It's more like a Bart Simpson purge because it's this water full of yuck. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I feel good. So she had this crazy purge and then she just like collapsed. She was like, she laid down and then she woke up and said, I'm never fucking doing that again. It was horrible. So it looked like an exorcism.
It was the Hape?
The Hape moved
The
the
Hape
energy.
moved the energy of what the Kambo was getting ready to do. And it needed to happen because she was so strong-willed. You can almost block Kambo at times with your will. I don't know if you've noticed it, but you can navigate it. If people are really stubborn, they can stop it. I've seen people do breath work and be able to navigate it and stop it from continuing on. So we do talk about like not trying to control it and letting go a little bit. You see it with medicine work anyways.
Yes.
You can navigate medicine work sometimes that's not really helpful.
Yeah.
So she was controlling it.
Sometimes people can block medicine as well. Yeah.
Block it, yeah. So she said, I'm never coming again. I'm not doing it again. And I was like, okay. She's like, that was fucked up. And I was like, well, let's not talk about tomorrow because I might be dead. So you might not be doing it anyways. So I said, go home, have a good meal. At that time, I used to tell people to have a healthy meal, especially, which I shouldn't do. People should eat whatever they want is what we think. We'll talk about that later about diet and Kambo. We think that people should eat whatever if they want. There's no diet around Kambo. Kambo is not a sacred medicine in the jungle. It is a folk medicine. So the grandmothers teach it to the little kids. The little kids will serve it to elders that are there if they need it. So it's not a sacred medicine. Hape is a sacred medicine because it comes from tobacco. And ayahuasca is a sacred medicine, but Kambo is treated as a folk medicine. They do it and it feels like a big barbecue in the tribe. Everyone's hanging out. It's not the way the Westerners have turned this into this like very ceremonial situation with pillows. And
Oh, interesting. They'd use it. Did they use it before hunting?
they use it before hunting, so they have more focus and clarity and strength and courage, and they can run faster. So she left the house at that time, and she had told me she ate a lot of fast food at the time. And I was like, so, try and feed your body something good. I thought it would give her more support for later. That's what I was thinking, which was me probably getting too entwined with her process. It's not my job. We teach people not to really guide them in things that outside of the ceremony. Do your work as a Kambo practitioner and then support them in the ways that they've come for, but then don't give them too much direction. It's not your job. People find their own guidance, The consciousness work, we see people can have more growth if we let their consciousness have discoveries and mistakes on their own. So anyways, she went home, and I was supposed to go up and treat her friend that was taking care of her, this older lady, and a guy who wanted to quit smoking. I should have never treated someone with that kind of addiction in a small group. because it was too much going on. But I'd organized it with her and the people who were taking care of her. And she called me. It's like 4 hours later. And I said, "Oh, what's going on?" And she was like, "Nothing. I just wanted to talk to you." And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "I took a walk." And I was like, "Okay, great." And she's like, "I walked 2 miles." I was like, "Huh." I didn't think much of it. You know, we walk all the time,
Yeah.
and especially in the Bay,
Yeah.
you know. And she said, "I haven't taken a walk in 7 years." And I was like, "Oh." And she's like, "And I went to McDonald's and got a salad. I went to Wendy's and got a salad." And I was like, "Good for you." And she said, "I can't wait to see you tomorrow." And she had forgotten that she said she was never doing it again. You know, she had completely, or she wasn't going to let me know that she remembered. But like plant medicine does that thing. It like Kambo does as well. Animal medicine, it like sneaks in, and you're like, "Oh hell no!" And then you're like, "Oh, it's my best friend."
Oh yeah.
And I'm annoyed by you, you know? So that was a pretty powerful, she's been clean now for almost 8 or 9 years, you know?
Wow.
Clean
That's
is the wrong word. I don't like
amazing.
that word. She's been off drugs,
No, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
off addiction. She got a job. She got her kids back.
Oh my God.
It was so cute. She sent me pictures from her kids' baseball game that 2 weeks later. So she did a bunch of sessions to get to that point.
So you've seen Cambo heal addiction.
Oh, tons of addiction.
Tons of addiction.
Really helpful with addiction. And I think it's because Kambo is giving you that pain reduction. And there's that consciousness thing that it's helping you feel comfortable with that trauma release. As you've said in medicine, that there's something happening with an old trauma that we maybe weren't comfortable with in daylight or in normal circumstances to like deal with.
Or even know that it's there.
Or to even maybe notice it's there. Maybe yours was something you hadn't. So we push things down because the consciousness is trying to protect itself, and Kambo's going to like crack it open, and it seems to crack it open just enough that you can handle it. And I think you probably, because you see sometimes after ayahuasca, people can be shaken.
Oh yeah.
So Kambo,
I've been there.
yeah, and it's for people like you who are maybe more experienced riders, or people who are doing this.
It still kicks my ass.
It kicks your ass. But imagine people who have no thoughts around it, and they're going in, they're getting shaken up, and then they're like sent home. So we're talking a lot about integration and making sure people are safe after, and that consciousness work isn't done when you're done with ceremony. You know, it's not.
Can you speak to the consciousness work?
And
You
the
mentioned it a couple
integration.
times. Yeah, and the integration.
Yeah, so we are the practitioners that we train. The big key to our training that we really hope to be helpful with is to help practitioners work with the consciousness first of their own. So we give them this. We work with pattern work, which comes from this tradition called Ren Jue. It's internal martial art, I believe, or it's Chinese medicine wisdom culture. So they have some different qigong medicines in it, and they have. It's started by a man named Yancey. He lives in New Zealand. He's from China, and he is a chi master, and he has put together this program. And the pattern work is in the sort of a higher level of it, and you're working around the consciousness. So there's based on 10 fundamental patterns of the human consciousness that are unhelpful.
Oh.
So there's greediness, overgeneralization, false expectations, dominance and control. So there's different patterns that we
Say
can.
the other sex. What are the other sex?
Oh, don't do that to me. I'm not, shit. I need my paperwork, bro.
I was like, yo, you
I
gonna
need my
skip past
papers.
this? I'm like,
Oh.
that's some profound shit.
It's good shit.
All right,
so
it's okay.
I'll send
Keep
it to you.
going. Okay.
And Ren Jue, you can find there's Ren Jue America, and then there's practitioners who do pattern work with people. So they will help people see their patterns and then undo them by exploring where they started, which you saw your pattern, you saw where it started,
Yeah.
and then you go in and you do a practice around letting it go and replacing it. And so we're coupling this work with medicine work so that our practitioners can look at themselves before they're working with clients so that they're more helpful as a vessel to help take care of their clients' needs. So they're not projecting, they're not overgeneralizing, and then they can maybe, some of the practitioners have to do consultations with clients, and they'll use this mentality, this sort of system, to help the client see what they want to work on. We use other questions in around that as well, which are just helping people get to their consciousness. But the pattern work can be helpful. we also might just use the chakra system or the meridian system. So I have a piece of paper that has all the chakras on it, and it will talk about in the root chakra, there's early childhood development stuff, maybe sexualities in the solar plexus or sacral chakra. So people will say, oh, there's, I'm dealing with that. That's a chakra I want to work on. But that might just bring the information to their consciousness. So when they do the combo, they're remembering the story of why they're there. Does that
Yeah.
help?
Yeah. No, that makes a ton of sense. That makes a ton of sense.
So that's the goal of our work, is to help people see the reason for them being there, because we have this feeling that all physical ailments are attached to some kind of consciousness ailment. And we're not saying that if you got hit by a truck, that injury is related to some consciousness work, but there probably is consciousness work. There definitely is consciousness work attached to it.
Yeah.
And you can learn from around it. Why did you get hit by the truck? There's something you can learn. We're not blaming the people for their injuries, but we're also saying there's probably some consciousness benefits you can bring to your growth and exploration by looking at the consciousness over just the physical.
Yeah.
It's definitely the what you're talking about is intention. So even going into like any sort of ceremony, because it feels like a ceremony combo does to me.
Oh, yeah.
But going in with an intention and then afterwards is integration. Do you guys have an integration process for people? When
Yeah.
they combo?
So we're super supportive of people after. All our practitioners, we always tell, like my Ginny, who's my co-teacher, and she always taught me, like, your students are always your students. So if they call you and they have a question, we're always there for them. And I think it's pretty similar with our clients. So we teach our practitioners that, like, your clients are always your clients. So when they call you obviously if they need something and it takes too much of your time, then you have to charge for your time. Yeah. But you're always there to support them. And I think we try and create that giving back. So the philosophy of our organization is Zidu Du Ren, which in Chinese, it comes from the Renjui organization, which means uplift yourself and then uplift others. So people that want to uplift others, I didn't end up in this work because I was in this great state. I ended up in this work because I was fucking sick and beat down and had some emotional trauma, and our parents are not to blame, but they're also responsible because they were there. My parents were amazing. They were great parents, but they did a lot of things that maybe weren't great for my growth and development.
Yeah.
That maybe by circumstance.
Yeah.
My mom had a baby that died that caused a lot of trauma for her, which then I probably absorbed a lot of that information. And then, being queer, and my mom was a born again Christian, you can imagine there's like all kinds of dynamics that are playing out for all of us all the time.
And we're watching our parents grow up. Like as we were kids, they were pretty much kids too.
No one told them what to do. Yeah. Especially those generations had a lot less support, I would say, to being a parent, which is why our generations are like horrified of like, do I want to do this with kids? So it's like, do I really want to? It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, we're on the precipice.
I know, I feel it. I'm really excited. I want to support that. So, Kambo is used for fertility.
Oh,
really?
It's really amazing for fertility. There's a lot of Kambo babies out there. People that even come when they're sort of late in the game. I've known people who are in their 40s and they thought this is not happening for me because they've tried and tried. And then they did a bunch of Kambo, both people in the couple or sometimes just the female or even just the male. And there's been a change in the information field. So like medicine work, I said if one of us was here doing acid today, we were all doing acid.
Yeah.
Kambo's like that. So if someone in the family is healing or doing their consciousness work, everyone's receiving it.
Yeah. So we talk about this. It might be the central theme of this whole show at this point. I mean, because, we do this work and, ceremony or a circle or a healing circle, it's sort of a metaphor, because you're essentially getting this group of people and you're creating a container together. You're doing all this cleaning and clearing work, whether it's sage or prayer or meditation or breath work, it's yoga, Cambo, hape, maybe a heavier plant medicine.
Yeah.
And it becomes pretty clear, like you're all connecting to each other, or at least you're becoming conscious that you are connected. And, you can feel each other's pain, your healing is intertwined. I mean, a perfect example is Tanya just told this amazing story about how she's hit by a car or a truck as a kid. thinks it's that accident. Turns out it's this deep trauma, right, from childhood that, of shame around going to the bathroom, right? She goes back, she heals this childhood trauma, right? She relives it, she purges, she heals her back. What happens the next day? The next day, they're sitting in they're in integration circle,
God,
and they're all talking, and somebody across the room,
directly across from me.
Yeah, when they're sharing, they say, yeah, the weirdest thing happened in my ayahuasca ceremony. I got given to me this song to teach my daughter, to teach her that it's okay to go to the bathroom.
During the integration circle
so
for
cool.
that ayahuasca ceremony. He was
And
directly
it's this
across from
thing
me.
around kids, right? They have this shame around the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's a thing, like what we hear. I'm not even sure what that story is, but that's fascinating.
Well, one of the things you mentioned was that you had Lyme disease and that you did Cambo on your liver to heal it. Were you able to heal your Lyme disease with Cambo?
So
Or treat it, I should say?
So Kambo helped me feel human again because I was so sick I had Lyme disease twice. One of our practitioners, she had Lyme disease so bad that she was in like a hospital bed on oxygen. I had Lyme disease, so I was kind of like a walking zombie vibes with lots of pain. People thought I looked great, but I felt sick and awful all the time. My nervous system was jacked. I felt like bugs crawling around my body all the time.
Oh my God.
Tons of arthritis pain in all my joints. My digestion was a disaster. I had complicated chronic illness, which is what we see a lot in medicine, in some medicine work. The nice thing about Kambo is people end up there from all walks of life. So they'll come from the medicine world, or they'll come from I don't know what else to do. They found because Western medicine is great for certain things, and I don't want to poo-poo Western medicine. I think Western medicine has some great function. I think that the system's unfortunately been bastardized by greed, one of the patterns. So there are things that they can't figure out because Lyme is one of those things you've heard about. Like Western medicine they didn't diagnose it for many years because they couldn't afford to insure it.
Oh.
So I think that's probably what was going on. And they still don't know what to do for it. Thank God, because they give me all the acupuncture I want. I don't have Lyme anymore, but acupuncture is good for everything. Nice. I love acupuncture.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I don't feel like I need much of medicine anymore. I don't take a lot of things. I feel food is my medicine and love and my friends. And then we use psychedelics when time is right. So that's something we should talk about.
Please.
Building the information field, building the information up. So you do medicine when it's called to do it again. You don't just start pouring medicine in all the time because we think that, we've had movement in it. We just have to pour it in and pour it in and pour it in. Because if you don't do your integration work, then you never have a chance to build information. So you can have big growth and change. And growth and change happens at times when it's profound. If it's just happening in little bits, if it's dripping in, it doesn't really have the effect, I think, in the same way. Like Kambo is called an ordeal medicine. You probably have heard that.
No, we've never heard that term.
Never.
So it
makes sense.
It's because you go through an ordeal during it, and on the other end, there's something waiting for you. If you just do medicine all the time, then you don't get to have an ordeal.
That's fascinating, and that was actually a question I wanted to ask you today, but you immediately obliterated the question by explaining the diversity of peptides and, because there's such a versatility to Cambo, and I know so many people that use it for so many different reasons. So I want
to talk to that after you're done saying what you're going to say.
Yeah, please, because I began to question, is it the ordeal, the ritual, is it the rites of passage, and that you are just resetting your nervous system, similarly to, how a cold plunge would, but in 10x, right?
When people told me about Kambo, they told me, it's good for this, it's good for that, it's good for addiction, it's good for weight loss, it's good for your nervous system. I was like, well, that's bullshit, because nothing can do that.
You're like, everything, really? It just does everything.
And we've been taught that pharmaceuticals work in a specific way. Natural medicine doesn't work that way. At least from what my experience is that, especially with Kambo helps your body do the things it should be doing already. So if it's helping all of these different things, it's not because of the Kambo always. Kambo might have an antibacterial, antimicrobial quality to it, and it's doing some things directly, but most of what it's doing is helping your body start to function again, to fight off Lyme disease or to have clarity of the brain because it killed off the fungal infection. So it didn't do something. It didn't give me brain power in that situation. It gave my body the ability to find its brain power naturally. And then there's the consciousness thing, which I don't want to separate them because they're together, but there's some profound change in that ordeal that helps us realize that we're growing and changing.
Yeah.
So we respect it.
Yeah. This is fascinating to me. I could talk about this forever
I
because
love it.
we're all artists and work in film, and it's classic Campbellian structure, right? Joseph Campbell, the ordeal.
Not Campbellian. Cambolian.
Campbellian. I have to say Joseph Campbell. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. That's
Cambolian.
funny.
Well, so the ordeal is a main thing, right? And the
Yeah.
ordeal in storytelling is not where the character succeeds. It's typically where they fail, right? They fight the cave dragon and they're eaten by it, right? But then they're reborn and they, selflessly and they conquer their goal. It's interesting. It's almost like a function of our culture is that there's a lot of suffering and there's a lot of pain and uncomfortableness, and we avoid it. We bury it. We don't face it. And it's almost like ceremonial work is consciously moving into the pain, or consciously meeting that suffering head on to discover your strength and the fact that, and come to terms with the fact that discomfort is a mechanism of transformation. We are constantly
nice.
transforming.
Well, we're going to be in discomfort. We're humans.
I know we only have so much time left with you, so there was a couple other questions I wanted to ask you, and that has to do with the difference between Cambo and Bufo. Have you worked with Bufo?
I have not worked with Bufo.
Okay.
A lot of our practitioners work with Bufo. Kambo is not a psychedelic, first and foremost. Have you guys done Bufo?
No. And it was the same reason that we didn't necessarily go to Cambo, but we've worked with DMT in
other
plant
forms.
forms. Yeah,
Yep.
mostly plants.
And I have worked with DMT in other forms as well. I just haven't been called to Bufo yet. I've been Bufo curious. But it's a toad, not a frog.
Yeah.
And Kambo is non-psychoactive and Bufo is psychoactive.
Yeah.
Kambo is this like, it doesn't blast you off.
Yeah.
Like you're becoming just more of yourself in a very uncomfortable way during it. Whereas Bufo, I think, is more about letting go of the self in a major way, which is great.
Yeah.
Some Kambo lets you let go of yourself too, because you got to let go to get to the other side or you're fucked.
Yeah. Bufo is more of a psychedelic.
It's hard to, but it's not the toad. Just to be clear, Kambo is a non-psychoactive. It's legal in every country except for Australia now.
Oh, they criminalized it?
Yeah, because of I like to call it, what's the word? Practitioner error. So that was a person that died. One person died in Australia that we know of. So it's always, I don't know how many, if other people have died, but this person died from, we don't know why they died. There was a person treating them that was not a practitioner. We know that. And the person who was not a practitioner, who was untrained, shouldn't have been doing it. We don't know how much water was drunk.
Yeah.
We don't know why they didn't call the authorities. Yeah. So there's a lot of information around it. And I think they just went after it. So they got it Schedule 9 or something.
Yeah.
I think also the thing is, it's really funny that I hear from people is they're like, all this stuff is so dangerous. It's so dangerous. People
not
have
true.
died. And I'm like, how many people have died from alcohol?
Or Advil.
This day, today.
Or salt.
Everything.
Or salt.
You know, it's so crazy to me
there's-
when people
you can
talk
count
about
them
this.
we used to be able to count the deaths of thousands of years of Kambo on two hands.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were
really?
not from Kambo. People didn't die from Kambo. People died from practitioner error for what we know. So maybe they were contraindicated. There was a guy who died in the tribe in the jungle who was a Westerner who had a previous heart attack. He should not have been taking Kambo. He was not permitted to hear. He would not be permitted to take Kambo if he was trained by us. He's contraindicated. So, or people that drank when I first started doing Kambo, people didn't have water guidelines.
Yeah.
So now we have very strict guidelines because we want to professionalize it so people can feel welcome and safe.
We drank
Like you
so
go to
much
I-
water when we did it. which scares me now because I'm
Yeah,
like,
what
wait,
year
how
was
much
it? How long ago was it?
2 years ago,
Couple
3
years
years ago?
ago.
So now the water guidelines are to open. We do 1.5 liters, which is very little. It's 3 cups. Some people are doing 2 cups, I've heard.
It's way more than
When
that.
I
we
first
drink.
went, they told me to chug a gallon of water
Yeah.
on my way there.
Oh, yeah.
So it's water starts to absorb after 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's no longer in the gut. And the combo is going to make you want to feel like you purge. And if that water's not in the gut, it's been absorbed into your cells. It's not good. So when I first did combo, I think people didn't know as much about the water situation and what was going on. Now we want to create a safe, trained environment where people can actually practice and benefit and not feel like there's some danger going on.
And what types of people cannot do or
Yeah.
cannot work
there's
with combo?
There's a lot of different contraindications. Some of the big ones are people that have had a heart attack or major heart illness in the past, people that have had a aneurysm, any breaks in veins or arteries because they have a break there, and the vasodilation that's happening during combo, meaning the pumping of your blood, is dangerous for a break that's already been there. So people that have certain illness, certain diseases, there's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but there's 9 types of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So only one of them probably is dangerous because it has a relationship to the heart being weakened. So people will think that, oh, I can't do combo near my heart. Combo is not dangerous for your heart if you have a heart that hasn't had
Trauma.
an injury, a certain type of injury specifically. So there's not a lot of people who are contraindicated against combo, but every practitioner you work with will have the list of contraindications. It's pretty easy to find.
Well, as we come to the end of our time, and also we come to a period of time in the world where Cambo is being more and more introduced, what do you have to say in terms of people out there that could benefit from it? You know, what kind of person do you think is a proper candidate for the medicine, and what would you recommend they do if they want to pursue this further?
I think that, I like to think people should try things that they feel that are safe for themselves and they could help them grow. So everybody who feels that they need growth in their life should try combo. I feel like I wouldn't be the person I am without having experienced it. Obviously I wouldn't be. So I'm super thankful to it and the tribes and those people. Don't just start Googling combo experiences because you're going to get a lot of fear tactics. So if you go Google combo online, they're going to say, be careful, it's frog poison. It's so venoms are used for healing in certain cultures and things like that. So you can look at people's sites. My website's Combo Remedy. I have a lot of science on there. Combo International is the school, and we have a lot of science on there. So do your research and then find a practitioner who you relate to. I'm in the Bay and in LA at times in SoCal, but find somebody who you feel like relates to you on an energetic level, that you can connect with without feeling nervous, because it's a sort of a scary experience. You want to work with someone who you feel comfortable with. And that's it. Give it a try and see what happens.
It's so funny. I really thought I would never work with combo again just because it's so intense.
Yeah.
But now you're making me want to do combo again.
heard that.
I want to do Cambo with you.
I want to do combo with you.
I would love
Let's
if
do it
you
right
ever
now.
would be willing. We'd love to.
Whenever. I'm here every month.
Okay, yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, we're down. Yeah, we didn't
Tony,
love
you
our
down?
experience.
Okay, Tony's down too.
Okay.
Tony's down.
Oh, Tony's down, baby. Oh, we just did an episode, New York Tony does ayahuasca.
Oh
we
my
did
God.
it before and after his first Aya ceremony.
Yeah.
No.
So we might have to do it for Cambo.
That's so cool.
Steve, thank you so much
I
for
love you
coming on
guys.
today.
This
We
is great.
love
Yo,
you.
we love
You're
you too,
amazing.
That's
man.
the other thing that I want to mention that happens in medicine. You probably talk about it all the time. Is it helps you see that we are individuals, but we're also all one.
Oh, yeah.
So until we realize that, we're going to keep hurting ourselves because we think we're not hurting ourselves by being harmful to the world and harmful to others, but we're all one, and we're also individual. We're both of those things. So
We feel the
hopefully-
same way.
Yeah.
We feel the same way. We feel like the disease thematically the illness we're trying to heal, if we're going to generalize, which I know is said, generalization was one of the things you said was
Overgeneralization.
Overgeneralization. But to generalize anyways was that disconnection is one of the primary things we're trying to heal. The things that disconnect us from our
Well,
from
people
each
are
other.
disconnected because they're scared and they were hurt, or they got, they were shamed to go to the bathroom, or whatever it was that happened to us. We're disconnected because it was traumatic, and we're going to shut that shit off block it out. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally shut that shit off.
Yeah.
30 years of constipation, baby.
Oh my God, I go twice a day now. And they look like the one in the picture. You know that picture? You're like, that's the perfect poop. That's
I
my
want
poop,
that.
bro.
I want the perfect poop.
That's because the Candida, bro. I can do it for you.
Please,
I can
are
help
you
with that.
serious?
You're gonna do it, but we can.
Oh,
we can
please.
We
work on it.
gotta
Okay.
do combo with it. We
Okay,
gotta
It's
do
not
it.
just the combo. I'll talk to you about Candida out there.
Okay.
Okay, out in the real world.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, thank you for volunteering
You
to
guys
heal
are
my
great.
poop
Thank
publicly
you.
because I've been calling for that. All right. So CamboRemedy.com. Cambo International is the school. You can check out our brother's Vice documentary if you need it. Cambo Steve. This has been the Ask
Combo
for
Steve on Instagram.
Cambo Steve on Instagram. This is the Ask for Squares podcast. If you stayed this long, please follow, like, subscribe, rate.
Share,
it helps
comment.
us a lot.
Please.
Do all of the things, and please help our brother in the work that he's doing as well. All right, thank you for joining us. Peace.